All right, so they currently have two types of interiors, right? They have classic and renovated. This one would be considered a classic unit. So classic units have white painted cabinets, this wood, vinyl plank flooring, some carpet. They have some tan and white appliances, as well as some dated lighting and plumbing fixtures. This lighting actually isn't horrible. Renovated units have marble-looking countertops. They have black stainless steel appliances, white painted cabinets, and the same thing with some dated lighting and some wood planked vinyl flooring and carpet throughout. So a cool thing though that I've noticed is that all units include these fully screened in porches. They also have free washer and dryers in each unit, which is pretty sexy, okay? For us, because what we'll be doing is we'll be charging $20 to $40 for those. And if you put that, and then they also have fireplaces, by the way. But if you put that in perspective, $20 to $40, let's say we meet in the middle at $30, $30 on 138 units now charging for these washer and dryers instead of offering it for free, Ryan, equates to how much?
$49,680.
I mean, is that an approximate number, or is that Mike? How the shit did you know?
Good.
I love that he just knew that off the top. Close to 50 grand is what I would say, right?
Yeah, close to 50 grand.
Close to 50 grand. That it increases the bottom line by doing that, right? Once again, it's thinking outside the box. It's seeing things like that I know in the market is not normal, right? And same thing with a screened-in porch. Let's show them the screened-in porch. So you have a fireplace in each unit, which is great. And then you also have this screened-in porch over here. All units have a fireplace and a screened-in porch. These are great little amenities that give us a leg up on the competition to be able to maximize market rents. Pumped about this one.
This window right here fallen. We're going to have to demolition this entire floor, tear out all this. There should be two beams down on both sides of here that we're going to have to build back up and then put it all back together.
That's dropped like, what would you say, 6 inches?
That's more like 4 inches. Tyler knows that.
Right. That's how we measure.
Hey,
Keep that in. We're going to keep that in.
keep it in there.
One thing I like though is that Greg said it's these things aren't deal breakers like the windows and the roofs and stuff like that. It's all about thinking outside the box, or like Tyler says, thinking bigger, right? So this window, like he said, most people think they'd have to tear everything out. Greg's just going to put braces in there, quick little fix. How much would it cost to do that, Greg?
That's why I gave you a heads up when you see it come, the bill come.
Yeah, I can't complain,
it's
right?
It's going to be several thousand to do this unit. Yeah, several thousand.
This is a hard
and we're going to make this
for sure.
Model, so it may be close to 10,000
to get this ready for a model unit, right?
Yeah.
So once again, it's all part of the plan, right? So we come in, we know we're going to make this a model unit. We have an idea of what repairs will be. But now let's say we didn't know this unit, right? As we're doing our walkthrough, we come in here, we plan for 4,000 a unit. Then we come in and we see this shit show. Now we need to account for 10,000 for this unit, right? So as we're going through, we're making notes, we're making sure that we are staying within budget. And if not, then we need to rerun the numbers, plan differently, figure out how to make it work, right? So many times we come in, or people will come in, and number one, if the numbers don't work, or if something causes their numbers to go astray, they just roll out, right? They don't do the deal. It's about being creative and finding ways to do the deal, right?
Tyler, would you keep these appliances?
Yeah, I mean, they're fantastic. Yeah. I mean, I would look at this as a premium product for sure.
Premium, definitely premium.
This is actually the same stove I got.
Honestly, with the cabinets, we'll probably paint the bases and put new faces on it.
Okay, come look at this. Come zoom in on this. This is actually, Greg has just started repairing with Scotch tape in here. Are you shitting me? Look at this. Is held on by Scotch tape.
He's trying to reduce costs already.
Don't blame me, he's the one that set my budget.
We do not use Scotch tapes in our unit upgrades. That cracks me up.
See, when I see appliances like that, I think cha-ching.
Yes.
Because it's such an easy fix. You just switch out the appliances.
So how much, if you were to, just appliances, stove, how much for appliances, you think?
Well, typically $400 for a stove, but Yeah, I think Greg can actually get them cheaper because if we buy in bulk.
I love it.
So a lot of times we'll buy in bulk and store everything.
$1,000 for a dishwasher, stove, and
And refrigerator.
refrigerator.
So bulk, how many, well, you would know this probably, how many for, if we're gonna get a discount, how many would we have to order for that?
As long as they know that you're doing it, I'd say 100, maybe 50, depending on places. Now we have several that we can go to, and we've been just doing so much business with them, they just keep
And you don't
pumping them out
actually
for
have to
us.
store all those. They'll
Yeah.
store them for you
Yeah.
and you just get them,
Yeah.
when you need them.
There's a couple of those, I have my own little section in the store.
I love it.
Your
story
the pear section.
I love it. I love it.
You look at this though, the range up there, it's all covered by this, it's underneath the light there.
A lot of these now,
No, that's the furnace there.
we are removing
Yeah.
all this entirely. We'll put a new LED
Yeah, and then you have
light in
a
there,
higher
and
ceiling.
then put a new trim around it, kind of opens it up as well.
Like taking this whole thing off. you're
Whole
saying?
thing.
Yes, money.
So,
All right, so we talked about, how we look at windows all the time. Greg talked about it. I talked about it before too. This is a prime example of this, right? These are original windows, from the 80s. So, and it's, obviously there's air that comes in through here, but as we put in new windows, tenants love new windows. It reduces, electricity costs, heating costs, cooling costs, everything. So this is the kind of stuff we're looking at, right? So we'd plan to come in and Greg, something like this, replacing the windows, how much you think?
Depending on the window, I've got window people that can do them for 1 to 125 for labor, and the windows themselves vary, whether they're in stock or specialized. I couldn't even ballpark. They all
Well,
vary.
we have to ballpark.
Last ones I did for a complex were $150 a piece.
And then 100 and something for
And then
labor.
100, I was doing $100 for labor.
Perfect. Okay, so we make a note, right? Figure out how many windows we need to replace, what's part of the plan, and then go from there. All right, so one of the things that we mentioned was ways to decrease expenses, right? So an expense, a big expense on this property I know is water. And we've determined that there's something up front. So what we'll do is we'll come in, we'll have the pipe scoped. Not a lot. I mean, to have the pipe scoped, a couple $100, and then we have plumbers that can come in and fix if there's, whatever that issue is, right? But we're also going to look within, inside the units and determine a couple things that I mentioned were toilets and shower heads, right? So let me show you this. This is a newer toilet, but it's not an energy an energy efficient toilet, which means it still has the standard 3 gallon. Every time you flush this thing, that's 3 gallons. Every unit that we've walked through so far has these. So I want you to put this in perspective. On 138 units, okay, to be able to put in an energy efficient toilet, which this is a new toilet, so I don't know necessarily if we would do this on every unit, but if this is not new, if it's not in good condition, that's a no-brainer. We can cut that flow down. So a new toilet, energy efficient toilet, is going to have about a third less. So this one flushes 3 gallons, right? Where a newer energy efficient toilet would flush 1.5 gallons to 2 per flush. Think about how much that reduces the flow. The other thing is the shower heads, right? So we can do a couple things in here. We can put energy efficient shower heads as well. What that does is it doesn't change, once again, the effectiveness of the shower, but it reduces the flow that comes out, which saves a ton in water as well. So ways we can decrease expenses is a great thing. So we're making a note of this, right? That's a plan of attack. The expense ratio, I'm not sure if I mentioned this at all either, but it's north of 70% expense ratio. So we are very cognizant right now as we're doing this walkthrough of things that we can do to reduce that. Utilities is one of those high expenses, so water, how can we do that, right? There you go. All right, so one of the questions is, how do we know that rental demand is going to continue to go up in the area? And you never know exactly, right? I want to make that clear. You never know exactly, but the South Carolina, especially the Columbia market, hits all of our indicators, right? Which is one of the reasons that we're so committed to the marketplace. Columbia as a whole has quick access to Charlotte, Charleston, Greenville. It's 3.5 hours from Atlanta and Raleigh. It's halfway between New York and Miami, which makes the city's location and the infrastructure just like a prime target for continued growth, right? So, which once again, it checks off all of our four major indicators. And the four major indicators are job growth, job diversity, household formations, population growth as well. And to put this into perspective, household formations have increased by,
2.23%.
2.23%. Our qualifier is 2%. Population is swelled to, I think it's like 12%. And our qualifier is,
It's a positive growth over the 3 years.
and yeah, so obviously has that. And projected growth as well. Employment growth has increased by 2.84%. That took a hit in April, but they've ranked in the top 5 for employment changes since then from bouncing back. What are the things would you say when you look at rental demand?
Yeah, so I think one thing that's important to know is Tyler talks about markets and how market cycles work. We're heavily invested in the Charlotte, North Carolina market. As he was just talking about Charleston and Greenville, there was a huge push into those areas about 2 years ago in Charlotte. About a year ago into the Charleston and Greenville market, which now pushes it down into the Columbia market. So it's important to know, a lot of people get in too late. It's important to know what's going on in those other markets around to know when it comes into this area, to get in advance, right? So there's different phases, buyer phases and seller phases. And so we knew that, and so that's what brought us down into the Columbia market ahead of time because we knew it was coming into this area.
But I also don't want you to overthink that too. Like, wouldn't you agree? Like, so many people overthink, market cycles. Well, it's important to look at the market cycle. Don't get me wrong, right? But you have to understand rental demand. We're a nation of renters. It's going to continue to go up. The key is how do you maximize maximize the rental demand? How does that property in that area attract that rental demand, right? And so that's what we're looking at. Of course, we look at the market. We look at the things that we just talked about. But if all those things check off, then okay, what do we need to do on this property to make sure that we maximize growth, right, within an area? And it's operations. It's how you handle operations. So, anything else?
No, that's it.
Олечка, ты можешь,
go.
как
That
тебе
helps.
удобно,
All right. I don't know if you can smell that.
когда нужно, ты просто
Can you smell that?
выбирай.
I don't know if you can over the camera. I don't know, but
Не-не-не, давай, вы
mold,
это
right? So
самое,
if you can, I
выбирай
don't know
тут.
if you can see in here. Back in the back, we have black mold, right? So we'll have to replace all that and
Are you sure?
get her
Потому
cut
что я
out,
просто вытащу, да и
taken care
все.
of, find the source, remove, right? But you can smell that mold when you come in, and unfortunately, I can't get you that on the camera. But it pretty much smells like. Brian, what does it smell like?
Да, я научу, не хочу тебя это самое,
Yeah, it smells like
как сказать,
I don't know, probably,
noise poison. Не
your
хочу.
grandma's house back in the
Для
day.
тебя.
Mothballs. I don't know. That's what I think of. My grandma's house didn't smell like mothballs, damn it. She always had a candle rolling.
Yeah, your grandma does smell pretty good.
Stop it. Oh my gosh. Ryan, my grandma
You're
is
never gonna see this?
I hope so. All right. Anything else you want to point out in here?
Well, everyone knows we do new lighting, new ceiling fans. I think that's pretty much it in here.
Yeah, so electrical. I told you one of the things we look at is electrical, so explain it to him.
Yeah. So one of the things on this right here is in order to get the property to get it insured, right? It's a little bit older electrical work. It's 20 plus years old, so it's got to be replaced. So in order to replace it, it's going to cost us, $50,000, $75,000 to replace all of them in here. So obviously, when you're looking at capital improvement budget, it can affect that number. The reason we're talking quiet is we've got another tenant that's coming in here that's signing on a lease right now. But so anyway, we've got to take all these out. There's 23 different buildings, so it's 46 different electrical boxes that we have to take out. So before we get it, it's typically what we don't do. They would fix it. We're coming in to fix it, so to make sure it's done right.
We have to, or else we can't get the
Yeah, we
property
have to
insured.
fix it. So we're doing it instead of the seller, so that it's done the way we want, so the insurance will actually, cover it. So it's not typically how we do things, but I mean, it's such a sweet property that that's what we're willing to do on it.
Sweet. All right, so we're trying to talk quiet in there because the seller was talking to Lisa in there, but listen, man, that is, those electricals, we say we're paying for them. No, we noticed that through Greg and Lisa noticed that, because remember, we haven't been through this yet, but Greg and Lisa had. They noticed that immediately through their initial walkthrough. So that's something before we submitted the offer that we included in the offer, that they had to fix that, right? So when we say we're paying for it, no, they're crediting us that, but what we're doing is we're paying for it so that we can bring our contractor in to do it, because we're getting a credit for $50,000, but our contractors can come and do that for under 20 grand. So now we get a credit for 50, get it done for 20, and that 30 grand, what do we do with that 30 grand?
Or put it in something else, right? I mean, it's going to cost for the
I'll tell you where we're going to put it.
right in the pocket.
We put it in a reserve, right? We improve the quality here, but it's like when you can spot those things through your initial walkthrough, you open up so many different doors because you include that stuff in your offer, right? If you can know those kind of things and include that stuff in your offer, it makes it so much better, because then you don't have to go back and retrade, right? Renegotiate later. It's awesome. All right, so this is another little what we call a hidden gem, okay? Come here. We're up here, we're walking this unit up here. Eddie brings down these mirrors, and I don't know if you can see, but if you can get behind us as we look in this mirror, and then ladies, if you'll come with me. I mean, I don't know if you can tell, but...
We can all three fit in there.
And we look fantastic.
We look great.
Which, here's the thing. Lisa was like, oh my gosh, man, I need a full-size mirror. So what'd you say to Eddie?
I said, are you throwing those away? He said, yeah, they're going in the dump. I was like, wait a second. That's actually on the list of things that I had to do today was get a full-size mirror for my rental house. And there you go. Yep.
So there we go, right? Value add opportunity for us. Lisa, this multi-millionaire here. Hey, you know what? She's a multi-millionaire because she's cheap and she steals shit from apartments, okay? That's what she does.
I have a rental house out here so that I can be on site at these properties. So
Boom.
who cares?
And see, here's what's not fair.
My mirror at home just sucks, so I needed another one.
There we go, double time, dude. Here's what sucks. You don't have a full-time mirror, you still walk out looking like that. Gosh, some people just have all the fucking luck, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? All right, we're just in the kitchen here in one of the model units. And we open this up, and Greg, what's your thoughts on this?
It's horrible. It's rusted out, it's leaking, definitely needs to be replaced. Not expensive, $350, and the maintenance guy can do it in under an hour. Especially with the Gator Bites nowadays, it's real easy to do.
And then what did you say was also missing?
Drainage. It does have a pan, but it's not drained out anywhere. It either shoots out the back, or you can put it right into that drain area right there.
Wait. So we would account for this within the budget to replace this guy and move it forward. Anything else?
That'll do it.
Craig loves being on camera, so he's excited about it.
All right. What I would do going into this place is starting with the front door locks, putting on smart locks so that vendors can go in, and tenants would have another key. We would do all the handles, gray paint scheme. Popcorn seems to be in decent shape, so we'd save that. Baseboards look old. This is a classic unit and a premium unit. When we did the flooring, we would also do the baseboards and trim. If you're looking at the toggles, big pet peeve is the almond toggle with the white faceplate. They have brand new ones that you can use the entire thing, so you don't have to swap out all of them out, and the outlets as well. So that looks terrible. We upgrade the ceiling fans, all the lighting now to brand new LEDs. We would also put in the 2-inch Fox blinds in the living rooms and main areas, and then we just use the 1-inch in all the bedrooms. But those also have to be brand new. All the lighting, these would definitely be replaced. Countertops and tubs all resurfaced. They went with a chrome or a stainless steel here. We replaced all the towel bars, all the faucets. especially kitchen ones. The ladies particularly like the very large faucets in the kitchen. This has a lot of undulations, tearing down there, replaced up here that has to be redone. This tub is a mess. This should all be replaced here, that right there, and resurfaced. Heading towards the bedroom. Again, this is a classic unit. Carpet was able to be cleaned up all right. Not really enthused with that, but they have me move in tomorrow, so I guess it is what it is. Ceiling still has to be cleaned up. Looks like we have a new ceiling fan in. Closet is presentable. Doorways we will replace as needed, and vinyl blinds. If they're functional, that's fine. If not, that slides easy enough and locks, so that's going to be good. Screens we have to replace, or we will replace as needed. A lot of them kicked out. I'd say that's about it for here.